Sorry, so my phone ran out of disk space. I need some more photos. I wanted to finish this point and really stress how complicated the human has how complicated the human has created a life. No, let me say this right. How the human being has complicated the life to the point of wasting so much of their time, their lifetimes, all for the betterment of a world class. It's all for the betterment of the world class. You know, it's not doing anything for the human evolutionary process. There's no evolutionary process with the world class, with one small group of people that control everything. The entire organism. That's like saying that when the body grows, only like a little piece of it is going to benefit from the growth, not the entire body. You know, it doesn't make sense when you think of it logically, and it doesn't make sense to me personally at this point. When I look onto civilization and see that's what it's based on, it's not going to evolve. With so many complicated things. And as a programmer, I found a lot of people. I used to recode people's work. You know, I used to come in and fix like problems that people had. And then somebody else built an application. I came in and learned it and fixed it. I found that a lot of people would complicate simple procedures just because they're when A learned in college and whatever it is they learned, they went to some kind of like training for coding, and the coding that they did was based on this very complicated algorithm, and procedures, and that's I mean it was necessary at a point, but if the entire industry is complicated, to build an application that's not complicated is not easy. Right? Yet, it would be in the benefit of everyone involved in that company that everything is done as simply and uncomplicated as possible. And what complicates most of your companies is the fact that you have a paying and receiving, accounting, and you have people that need to be monitored for days off and for sick days and everything else that you think is bleeding the company. Make sure that they come in on time and leave on time. See, these are the kind of things that again, money controls, right? Because if there was no money, if there was no payment made, it didn't really matter if the person came in sick or not, because there would be like 5 people waiting for them to do that person's job, and they won't be called. It is. The whole accounting thing would be whipped away. No paying, no receiving, no worrying about whether or not, and nobody would try to bomb the place. There would be nothing that you have to worry about. No security, people stealing good code, or stealing identities, or stealing money from people. Tapping in. There would be no junk around. All these things that surround the wasting of time of your civilization, and the companies that hire you to work for them. All that time wasted would be gone. And that time that you get should be then properly used for the soul coming through the body, to learn what it is, and learn how to release karma, and learn how to ascend out of here. It's like, what do you learn in high school? How to graduate, right? The whole goal of going to your schools is to graduate. But the thing of it is that you're taught so many different things that in reality are only based on money. And if money wasn't, why do you think that the tribal cultures didn't have a formal education system? They never had books. Most schools didn't have books. They need books. They taught their children how to tap into the knowledge base, and based on a lineage of people, giving that knowledge down to their children, it was solid, and it was good. You didn't need something to be for them to be trained to. I mean, yeah, there was hunting skills and other things that they needed to learn to be able to survive and to become whatever they needed to be. Whether it was hunting with the gatherers, whether it was the builders, whatever, or eventually, astronomers, and people that tapped into and shaman, and people that tapped into the mysteries of life, not to learn how they work and then recreate it and then maybe to try to control it, but how to work with it, understand it, work with it, and understand you don't have to know how it works. You blame a lot of your tribal cultures on like, oh, they had superstitions. They would do these dances when it started to rain to let the rain go away, or when there was a drought, they would do a dance and a drumming thing to bring in the rain. It worked. I guarantee you it worked, and it was because Mother Earth works on that type of like feedback. What they did, you make fun of, but what they did was use their power of belief and their power of a group of people getting together to form a reality. And that reality is it needs to rain now, and they called upon the rain. How did we learn this? How did we learn that? Because we as shamans would talk to the spirits and tell them, this is what you need to do. That's it. There was no training. There was no books on that stuff. There was dances and certain things that you did to get energy out. There were certain spiritual practices that you followed. But there was no book that you had to read and memorize. And then later on have this guy freaking recite little pieces of the book to you to show you how God loves you. And the hieroglyphs that we created were specific for us to be able to document a procedure that needed to be followed, and how and it wasn't for training purposes. It wasn't for like, now you guys take hieroglyphs now and you freaking break them down and try to figure out what they say, but you'll never will. You know why? Because you don't have that knowledge behind you. You might find patterns and then this means this. Okay. But it didn't mean to them. You know why? Because you killed them. You didn't ask them about what these things were. You killed them. You took their gold. You took their and you just slaughtered them. Because they were pagans to you. They were not of God. They were not of Jesus. They were not of whatever you were following when you took that sword and cut the guy's head off. You see? Oh, but it wasn't me that is my family. And you know what? The same mental, the same belief that slaughtered those names. They exist today. Instead of slaughtering them, you're converting them, right? You're making them modern citizens. You're bringing them in, and you're teaching them how to be part of this civilization and how to be a slave to civilization. And they need the money, so they have to do it. Because back in their country, there used to be like the land was shared. Now it's like taken over, controlled, and they can't get water anymore. The free, they have to buy wild water, and the food they can't hunt themselves, and they can't get. There's things that have been ripped away from them, and then they're forced upon having the use of money. And then they can't do it, so then they run away from those countries in fear of being persecuted. If not, they don't have enough money to pay pay off they're dying, and then come to this country as immigrants. But immigration is a joke as well. How can you say any part of Mother Earth belongs to you and you alone, and then if you come to this part of Mother Earth, you have to show me proof that you are human? Terrorism happens because of money. Those people that are terrorists, they're living in such dismay and such poverty and such such discord that they want you to recognize them. If you did recognize them, instead of ignoring them or trying to profit from them, trying to go into the country and then steal their natural resources, if you didn't do any of that, and you have to try, then there will be no terrorism. There was no reason to terrorize anybody. The problem between the Jews and the Palestinians, that wouldn't exist if you all equally shared the belief that you're all equal in the eyes of any God that you believe in. You can put a name on any God that you want. You can put a face on it. You can do anything you want on it. But there's one, and she let you project what you want to see them as. It makes it easier for you to believe. Can't continue believing. Yeah, it is. You don't believe. Most of you don't anymore. Most of you are caught in this trap of like, well, it's the way it is. It's the way everything is. God must have created this. No, man. God created the place and the presence of you. You were supposed to create the heaven on earth. She wasn't going to come down and create the heaven on earth for you. If she was going to do that, then she might as well just live your fucking life. She was expecting you to do it. And what did you do instead? The opposite. Or you ignored it, and to the point where you allowed a small group of people to manipulate and control it and develop that hell on earth instead of a heaven on earth. Because this is no heaven on earth, that's for sure. Sorry, I had to get somebody at the door. So my whole thing is that you complicate your life so much that you waste so much of your time supporting a thing that is literally killing you, killing all of you. I'm going to repeat this again. Does anybody have the cure for death? Because that's the thing you all should be working on as the number one priority, other than taking care of yourself, each other, and the planet. Because the cure to death would solve a lot of your problems. But since you can't even find the cure to the diseases that are causing death, how are you going to find the cure to death? Well, I found it. I know what it is. No one's going to believe me unless they ascend out of here and come back down, because it is not in your framework of knowledge. I know that if somebody would have told me that when I was human, not knowing, even younger me, because all this information just got released for me. I'm sorry. It is the It is the human, is the goal of the human organism to conquer death. In the human form, this body cannot conquer death because it is, at one point it is no longer functional. And that is because, again, the human body could live much longer than it does. Yet, the human soul needs to experience certain things. If the human body lived 200 years, then the whole process of it learning within multiple lifetimes to understand points, it would not exist. So the human body has to die. The soul doesn't die. It can die, and it can die. It can be not die, but just wiped away. But in all reality of your reality and all of the whole process of the evolution of a soul, it cannot die, because its main purpose is to evolve and to ascend past this 3D realm into another dimension, where then death does not exist. In the higher dimensions, death is a part of the human condition, and the universe when it comes to organisms. Lower forms of them. But higher dimensional beings, which is what you end up becoming, which is what your soul is, but doesn't know how to be up there. See, the soul is down here learning because it doesn't know how to be what it needs to be in another dimension. Once the soul learns enough of this reality of the human condition, then it understands enough to ascend to to that place. That is the ultimate goal of the soul. And through the human condition, that process is supposed to, help it to ascend, but it doesn't, because in this because that level of ascension is just stunted. So that's why that's why they bring it every year. The planet can't handle much more, many more. I'm telling you now. At this rate, you'll be up to 12 billion in a short amount of time, and she cannot handle more than between 8 and 12 billion. Anything between that number, she will do something to get you off of her. Elon Musk and some of the world class believe that they can just take millions of you and bring it to cut you out to Mars after he terraforms it. That's not going to happen. Mars is not going to get terraformed. Mom does not want to get terraformed. Mars, that's sci-fi bullshit. Mars is in all these planets are interdimensional. I mean, they have life forms that are living there in other dimensions. That if whatever we do in this dimension will affect that dimension. Same thing at Earth. But there's nothing like humans, anywhere else in any dimension, except for the parasitic beings that are controlling the world class. You're either controlled by them or allow us to help you. Either or. Right now, you're basically controlled by them. Not individually, but by a world class that's controlling and the destiny of the civilization. And in so doing, they allowed souls to not ascend, which allowed the population of this planet to grow exponentially to a point of this planet can no longer handle this many people. Especially ones that are continuously trying to ravage its resources. Right. So because of that, the soul is stuck here and can't figure out how not to die anymore. When I say that I found the cure to death, it's because I ascended out of here, and I'm in a place where death does not exist anymore. It was a very interesting concept down here, and it helped me as a soul to learn and grow, but it is not necessary. And that was your purpose, to find the cure to death for yourselves, and eventually your entire civilization, which then would ascend up and continue. I mean, the thing of it is, all God, the Creator, is looking for is so you guys to last long enough to to have souls come in and be a good training for souls, not an enslavement for them. Instead, you chose the enslavement. You chose the world class that is enslaving all of you, and you allowed that to happen. And that's not what a father wants for his kids. A mother wants for his children. But that's what you've done, and that is the crust of your problem. The crust is the right word. That's your problem. Again, as a programmer, I used to go in and look at applications that didn't work right and fix them. Learn what they were doing. I mean, I've never come across. I have come across people that I can't. It's way beyond me, and I turned down those jobs and I said I can't do this. But most of them, basically based on the language that I trained myself on, was able to figure out what was not working and fix it, or I would scrap that application and build a new one. And if I had the funding to build, one that was I would, but I never. There was always a budget. So money stops applications from being the best that they can be, right? And in the same sense, money has stopped the human consciousness from being the best that it can be. And you take it one step further, money has stopped Money has stopped you from doing what your creator would like you to do. He shit doesn't want you to pray. Shit, what building you go into, and what book you read. He just wants you to stop killing each other, and he wants you really, 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 really to take care of each other and the planet. That's the number one priority. And you won't do that with money, because money would always take precedence over human life and planetary life. Until it doesn't anymore. But will that be too late? It has been every time before yours. So, I'm going to end it with that. One last thing they want me to say. Go ahead, come through me, because I don't have anything else. If you want to experience something on this planet that you should be experiencing already, if you want these things that are slowly killing you all off, and that are limiting your level of understanding yourselves, not understanding how you work and then trying to figure out and then creating an android, or understanding how you work to the point where, I drive a car, right? Which I don't have. Actually, I don't have a car right now at all. But when I drove a car, I didn't really know how it worked. I didn't know how the engine works. I know it works. I know that it works. It drives, but I don't know how it works. Me knowing how it works maybe would save me some money if I had to go to a repair shop and fix something. But in all actuality, it wouldn't make me drive any better. It wouldn't make me do anything that I needed to do. It would waste a lot of my time, learning how engines work and trying to fix it. And if I wanted to be a mechanic, it's fine. But if I didn't give a shit about mechanics and all that, then that would be a waste of my time learning that. That's what your scientists are doing. They're wasting their time trying to figure out how Mother Earth works, and all these great theories that then they materialize as theories that materialize as proof. You prove it in a laboratory, and you believe that's actually it. It's not. And all those people that are wasting their time doing that, actually I could be figuring out how to cure death, and then teach your children how to do it. But they don't. That's modern science for you. A lot of money spent on trying to figure out something that could work as a theory. I mean, I don't read books anymore. I don't really watch anything much anymore. I don't really do much more than what I'm doing now, because any of that would cloud and block my ability to get information. And what I'm saying to you guys now on these videos, and what I'm doing, is not pre-planned. I don't read in a book, and is absolutely positively coming from somewhere other than me. How do I get this information? Through my DNA. Why? Because of the use of plant medicine, because the use of because of the cap that was removed from my consciousness, and by a healing I did, someone did me 2.5 years ago, and my belief in my own self-worth and my own connection to my soul and its purpose here. My soul isn't human. I'm going to repeat this again. My soul isn't human. I was human at one point. It ascended to a higher dimension where I do something else there. A bunch of us asked to come down as what you consider star seeds or indigo child children, I think you call them, to help you guys not to kill each other, not to let run your civilization into extinction as many civilizations before you did. I'm trying my best. Hopefully it'll work. Namaste.